Hello everybody and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. There it is. There it is. Hey everybody, it's me, it's Andy, Decade Andy here, pre-show, just before we get her going. Lads. Hope everybody's doing well today in the world of the interwebs. Make sure the doodads are working. Not those ones. They're not the doodads I want. That's the doodad I want. Yeah. I checked the news today. There is, again, no substantial news for Transformers, so it's going to be me talking about G2, which is what I kind of thought was going to be the... Well, no. In all honesty, I mean, I'll reiterate this for when we're doing the proper recording, but I assumed, foolishly on my part, I thought we were actually going to have some news from the stream that took place on, what was it, Friday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, Tuesday, Monday, one of the days this week. I thought we were going to get something. We got dick in terms of stuff we hadn't seen or hadn't been revealed previously. The only thing we really got was we got to see the reactive Soundwave figure, and it's is that it? Nothing else? No, that's all you get. It's I was really disappointed when they started the show and they were like, okay, let's get the new reveals out of the way with us. All right, let's fucking go, boys. Let's fucking go. And they're like, here's the, here are the reactive figures. I was like, but we've seen them. Here's the Soundwave. Oh. And now we're moving on to stuff we've seen. Oh, no. No. I wouldn't even say I liked the Soundwave that much personally, but I guess I guess I can talk about it when we get into the goo, right? Once we start proper pooping, I guess that would be an idea. I can talk about the Soundwave before getting into the G2 stuff. I think that's quite a good idea, Andy. Since I don't see there's any responses from the audienzo. Hello, by the way, if you're listening out there, welcome. So I guess we could get pooping. Where's the thing? There's the music. No? Yeah, there's the music. Okay, let's hit the music, and we can get cracking with the knacking. So they say, okay, music time, boys.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decade Andy, and I'm here alone on the moon's surface once again. All alone, with no kind of atmosphere. Something more or less. The Red Dwarf intro, you know it. Well, hopefully you do. If you're American, you might not know. Oh, if you're American, you might have seen the awful American version of Red Dwarf. America did get a crappy version of Red Dwarf, didn't you? I'm sure you did. American... Red Dwarf. Yeah, it didn't last long. Never mind. Yes, America did have a... Yeah, you got a US pilot and you fucking shit the bed. And you did a crap version of Red Dwarf. Granted, our Red Dwarf started turning poo, I hear, later on, but it started off really good. Red Dwarf is a solid show. Season 1's rocky as shit. It's super duper rocky, but it gets good. I wouldn't say it's better than Blackadder, and it's not better than Fawlty Towers. Peak British shit in my eyes, but still good, still fun. I've actually got the Red Dwarf Blu-ray collection, the Cum-lection, coming, I guess tomorrow from Amazon, because it's only it was on a Black Friday sale, quote unquote sale. So it was £26 for 8 seasons. I was like, yeah, that's a lot of shit. 8 seasons worth of Red Dwarf for £26 or £28 on Blu-ray. Yeah, all right, well, why not? I got Fawlty Towers as well, complete for £14. I was like, yeah, that'll do me. Why the fudge not? Now, before we get into the main topico, if you want to go that route too, we should talk about the one and only reveal that we got from the Transformers, Hasbro Transformers reveal doodad stream that they did at some point this week, which was the one and only Soundwave React figure, or the Soundwave figure from Transformers Reactive, that one. So we could talk about that, and then we can get on to it, because it was the only thing that was shown that was new, that we hadn't seen before, which, again, I was dumb. I admit that, chat. I admit that, listeners, too. I was stupid. I was under the silly illusion that they'd have new things to show. And I should have known by now that that's not how these things work. These things work by generally, if it's a small stream like this one, or like that one, I should say, this one, you know what I mean. If it's a small stream like that, then it's only going to be stuff that we've already had released before. Granted, for people that don't keep up with the news, yeah, it's good for them. They get to see new, quote-unquote new stuff. But for people like myself, who generally at least looks at TFW once a day at least, or once every 2 days, just to see what's going on. Yeah, this is not too surprising. Whatever. Soundwave React, the reactive Soundwave. He's got going on the same kind of random black blobs on him that Starscream does. It looks a bit more coherent. I will say. I think the problem is the very, 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 very dark blue that they've gone with. That kind of really dark blue and black, I don't think complement each other too well. Again, if it's meant to be going for a quote-unquote damaged version, again, I don't think it really pulls it off desperately well, because just having random blacked out parts on a toy, though more consistent on this than on Starscream, I'd say just doesn't really do it. They have a few bits of red, a few bits of silver, but generally speaking, he's quite a dark figure. I think toning up the blue just a little smidge, brighten him up just a little bit would have helped, at least for me. He visually, robot mode silhouette from the front looks okay. They've kind of G1 movie-fied his face, so it's G1 aesthetic generally, but then it's a little bit greebly from the looks of things. It's not as Michael Bay greebly as it could be, thankfully, but it has that greeble effect that I guess at this point we're kind of used to. He does have some junk in the trunk, at least on his upper back. At least he's got a large lump of the car just kind of, it's not hanging off there. I would describe it more as Hunchback of Notre Dame, kind of. So it's not hanging, but it's definitely a growth, like a giant cyst on his back that you just want to pump and squish the goo out of, just to get it a little bit smoother. It's almost there for being quite a tidy looking vehicle, but because he's got such a big back, it makes it look like he's got no ass and he's got no thighs. He did all of the working out on his lump on his back. It's like the guy from 300, the deformed dude who betrays, spoilers, King Leonidas. It's like that guy, except he didn't work out on his legs or his arms. It just all went onto his back, which is a bit of a bummer, I would say. Car mode's fairly tidy. We're going with the standard kind of SUV doodad. It looks like it's an armored SUV doodad. It does have the cassette, the place where you'd put the cassettes in. That kind of rectangular shape that's just stuck on the front of the car, on the car bonnet, I think it's called. I'm not a carman. It's on the front of the bonnet. Looks really awkward there. Looks like it's there because it has to be. Like it's not. It doesn't look like it's part of the vehicle mode. It looks like it's there because it has to be there for the transformation for the robot mode, because he has to be G1. And I don't know how we justify him having that in his chest these days when he's not a cassette player, but because it's an essential part of Soundwave, him being a cassette player, but not being able to be a cassette cassette deck player, whatever. He can't be a Walkman. Yeah, there we go. He can't be a Walkman anymore, but he still has to have the chest. And I guess for the vehicle mode, they just went, fuck it, just have it on the front of the car. Who fucking cares? I would have liked that to have been hidden underneath the car somewhere. Just to not have it on the top of the car, it seems really weird. There are big hinges on the side of the vehicles as well for you clearly swing a part upwards for the vehicle mode. It always looks a bit ugly. It's the big hinge on the outside of the vehicle mode that I think the Studio Series Ironhide and Ratchet have as well. Always looks ugly on a vehicle. If you can hide that somewhere inside, again, the transformation, It's appreciated. You can kind of get away with it in a robot mode if it's in an okay location, like on the very top of the shoulder. I don't think it matters too much there. It being right on the side of the vehicle mode makes it very, very obvious, at least to me. Maybe I don't know how you couldn't see it, but maybe some people don't mind that. That's cool. It's nice that he has the satellite dish on the top of his car mode. His guns, which obviously were batteries, everybody knows this. His batteries, we'll just call them batteries. His batteries just kind of plug on the top of his car mode willy-nilly. They just go there. There's no real nice spot to hide them. They just plop on the top and you go, there you go. It looks like you might be able to combine you can combine the guns. The top one on his shoulder has a little nipple, and the standard gun, which almost looks like a tuning fork, I always thought, has a port on the back, so if you want, you can make it into a big gun. Okay, that's fine. Big rifle or not, I don't know whether that'll be a thing in the video game, but it's on this figure at the very least. Looks like the vehicle mode shows that the back of the shins are hollow. I think it's easy to assume that the back wheels are going to go inside the back of the shins. I always really appreciate that. That's always a fun part of a transformation where the wheels go inside of the back of the shins. And if they close up as well, that's even better. If they just fill out that kind of hollowness, I'm fine with that. Again, generally, I don't think he looks like a bad figure. I just think he's a bit too dark visually. And the random black bits, not a good call. That's weird. The adherence to G1, always a problem. But, it's okay. It's not a thing that I want. Apparently, these things in these packs are going to be limited. I don't know if you can get them as of yet. Can you get them as of yet? Let's go to Big Bad Toy Store. Let's have a check. Yeah, you can pre-order them. $64.99 for both sets. Both come with the Deluxe, both come with the Voyager, Starscream, Bumblebee, Prime, Soundwave. He's a lot brighter in this 2-pack. Yeah, they've lit him better in this 2-pack images for the promo artwork, so he looks brighter. Maybe the photos that we were just looking at, chat and listeners, maybe they weren't the best representation of how colorful he's going to be. But I don't know. Only you, the dear viewer or listener, again, will be able to tell once you get them in hand. But, I mean, looking at the side-by-side of Prime and Soundwave, they're not going to be the same height. At least I would be surprised if they are. And Soundwave with his very, very slender legs and random black bits everywhere. I think doing the feet silver would have helped. Again, more Soundwavy. Soundwave's hands are meant to be blue, right? Yeah, his arms. Yeah, his hands are meant to be blue, and his forearms are meant to be silver, all silver, not just a little bit silver. I don't know. I think you could have done a bit more with the color placement. I know for some reason in the stream as well, they were really showing off the boxes. They were like, "We got the plastic covers back on the boxes, boys," and I was like, "Well, that's good because it means your figures aren't going to get stolen as easily now." It's good for a collector as well who wants to have it on shelf. That's fine. I think the big reason to put plastic, the little thing on the front, the view screen, let's call it, back on these boxes, I think the main idea or the main reason to do it is to stop toys just being pilfered from the boxes, right? At least I would say so. I think that's a good call. I think that's smart. But yeah, that was the only real reveal, and the other reason we're not really doing any news this week is because there was only like 4 other stories that I saw that was really worth talking about. We got to see we may as well talk about it. We got to see the Legacy Unite Commander Magmatron in his. Somebody actually commented on the Twitter and said it reminded them of Human Centipede. I am not saying that directly as their quote, but it was sort of implied that this is a Human Centipede kind of affair. Don't disagree with them. How does it look from the one image we have? It looks as awkward as you would imagine, or has always been. It looks as awkward as it's always been. I guess it's nice it's there. If they told me, hey, Andy, we're not going to put this mode in, I wouldn't cry, personally. I know there'd be some that would, but let's be fair, you're not going to have... You're going to put are going to have this in, you're going to have this mode once. You're going to put it in this mode maybe once, maybe twice, not a huge amount of time, because why would you? Maybe you would. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm not being fair to you, listener out there. Maybe you would have it in this mode more often than not, but I know for myself, I wouldn't do it. And I don't think it's out of hand to say that that's probably what's going to happen mostly. Never mind, we got to see it, and that was pretty much it on the news. End of things. So, that was it. Now, we should go back in time. And let's go back to 1992. Kind of pick off where we left off last time. Last time, if you recall, when we were talking about G2, I just had up the page on this website, which is transformersland.com. We were going through the G2 list. I was like, this is fucked up. This isn't the complete list. And then I was able to get to go by year. Going by year, we can get all of the G2 toys up. Going by individually, not so much. Kind of weird. Hang on, I'll get up TFU as well, so we can find close-up images, because Transformers Land doesn't actually have close-up images of a lot of these creatures, or Transformers as they're called. So there we go. Got the side up as well. Let's go with my boys. This is 1992. It started off with the Constructicons. It doesn't show which one it is, but I assume it's the yellow one, because those were the ones I saw around 1992. So the Predators, my boys, the boys that get shit on. At least it feels like they get shit on. The last Quake toy I think we got was a BotCon exclusive done out of the Ghost Starscream figure. And I think that was really the last time. Apart from third-party figures, that was the last official time. Oh, I guess like even then, BotCon's not official, or wasn't official. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. There might be a few out there, but the Predator jets, we have, let's call them deluxes, quote unquote. Let's say Stalker's a quote unquote Voyager, and let's say that Skyquake is a quote unquote leader for the line. They came with gold plastic guns, which was a style of the time. It wasn't, but gold plastic syndrome, obviously, back in the day, not an issue. However, each of these these guns had very, very, very tiny handles. So they were really fucked over when it came to gold plastic syndrome. Just on the basis that, hey, you've got this really tiny peg going into a very small hole as well. It's not even a long handle. Where are the Predators? It's not even a very long handle. Oh, it doesn't show it on the images here. But it was literally just a little nub. So I know in some of my figures they've got handles because they've obviously snapped off over the years. We'll start off with Falcon. Probably the most, I guess, normal looking. He is I would say, for the time, when you tell me, hey, Andy, what's a stealth bomber look like? Or a stealth jet? This is the kind of stealth bomber jet that I think of. Very angular. Not the colors I would have gone for. Gone for a gray, bright pink stickers, only 2 of them, and then like light blue highlights, and then the rest of the extremity parts of the body are black. So it's an interesting visual. He's got the wing silhouette, which I'm always down with. The nose, the plain nose going down the groin. Again, kind of standard design for a jet. But I think it's not too bad of a head design. Oh, this apparently Falcon was the leader of the Predators? Huh, okay. He also came with the missile launcher, which I mentioned. An interesting looking missile launcher. The little... It looks like you'd be like, how did the missiles fire? It has like on the side, it's this little button that you press inwards. Though I think it meshed well with the gun to the point where it wasn't like super obnoxious. We'd be like, oh, there's the big handle you press to shoot the missile. Excuse me. But it was fine. Little green missiles, classic for the Predator jets. You got 3, 1 for the gun, and then 2 to go on the inside pegs of the robot mode or the jet mode. That's good. That's fine. All down with that. For some reason as well, they don't show it here on the images, but on the underside of, I guess where the back of the plane is, there was a little flip down bit of plastic that had a translucent flat panel that was that had artwork of it, of like a targeting sign that had like an Autobot exploding or something of that nature. It's kind of their gimmick at the time, which was cool. I didn't realize how it was meant to work, but we'll get to it when we get to Stalker and when we get to Skyquake as well. But each of these individual ones had their own little translucent flat panel to go into Skyquake and to go into Stalker as well, which is nice. It was fun. Oddly enough, the Turbo Masters didn't have it, and maybe they should have. But yeah, I was a fan of Falcon. Fairly easy transformation. Let's flip to the robot mode. So all you'd really do is you would flip the nose cone down with the rest of the chest. The head and legs were on if you imagine a big screw and then a rail system. The rail, if you went upwards, the rail had the top of the head on, and then downwards it had the waist where the two legs are attached. So you push that up, and then you just flip the legs down, and you got the wheels of the plane, and then flip them up into the legs, and they became the feet. Simple, fast, good, solid looking Transformer with a nice, unique look. Maybe could do with a bit more color. There's obviously some stickers missing from the image that we're looking at. But again, nice, really good, really well implemented light piping. Light piping that I think Hasbro tries to do in this day and age, but just can't ever get it to work desperately well. Back in the day, light piping was where it was at. They did the light piping and they did it good. Also, they didn't do red for the Autobots. They did bright pink. And I think that worked better just because of the color it was. So Falcon, not bad. Like him. He's not the goodest boy. One that I didn't have and one that I got much later on was Skydive, who is not an Autobot. A scientific advisor, apparently. Small class Predator is the size class. I don't really know how to describe this plane. Yeah, I don't... nonsense, probably. Probably a nonsense plane that would never work and never fly. I'm not a... we need Aaron from TFW on here to explain this, I suppose. But I'm not sure if this was ever a plane that existed. Maybe it was? I don't know. But it looks cool. It looks like something out of G.I. Joe. And it looks like it doesn't actually connect to the main jet body in vehicle mode either, much like mine. I wonder if that was... There was no clip for this part, for the front of the nose cone to clip to the main body of the plane. So it does have a little bit of a tendency to droop, I imagine, with everybody else. He transforms. Very simple way. Pull the legs down. Flip the wheels into the legs that become the feet. And flip the nose cone down. And you're done. This one on screen is missing a lot of stickers. I can tell again because I've got one. Oddly enough, the ports for the hands are on the side of the hands rather than in the middle of the fist, which is an interesting look. But he did have, again, the single launcher and the 3 missiles. And he had his little weird translucent panel is under his nose cone in vehicle mode. So if you wanted to see it, you'd have to flip that up. But another really interesting head design. Really, really big pointy chin. Hilariously big pointy chin. And his eyes are basically just a V sunglasses. Kind of like sound waves. But again, bright green light piping. And the top of the head is almost the Decepticon insignia. You know, the center part of the Decepticon insignia, that little pointy part. But without the Soundwave ears on the side of it. Again, I really like this. Bronze-faced as well. I think there are a few other... They use bronze a few times. I think that was paint this time rather than the gold plastic, which they used for the gun. But he doesn't... I'm just looking at his artwork. The artwork doesn't look like him at all. Yeah, they really crapped the bed on that one. Maybe kind of does. The chin's smaller on the tech spec artwork, and he doesn't actually have a mouth in the tech spec, which he does on the toy. Fair enough. True cruelty is the highest form of art. Yeah, what a saying. What a fun guy. We have Snare next. Another one that I had. The only one I was missing of the Predators was the last one we did, which was Skydive. He was the only one I didn't have. A nice red jet with backwards wings. Can never say no to the backwards wings. Unfortunately, because of the shoulder placement, it kind of ruins the cool design of the plane. If the shoulders where they were could have been pushed backwards, closer to the wings or hidden under the vehicle mode somehow, just to make that silhouette of the jet with the backwards wings a bit more prominent instead of having that design, but then with these two giant, not rectangles. I don't know what shape that is. Kind of like a rectangle. Right next to the cockpit, it throws off the shape a little bit. Again, the transformation, very nice, very simple. Flip the nose cone down, flip the head up because the head usually got stuck in the nose cone. Pull the legs directly down on a rail, which is the large screw, and then flip the feet up and you were done. And on the image here, you can actually see this gray part just underneath the nose cone. That's where the clear plastic little screen with the Autobots being shot up was for him. Again, a really cool head design. Trying to think how to describe this one. Kind of your standard black helmet, 2 individual eyes rather than a mono eye, or the sunglasses effect. And then almost like this... What are the masks that samurai warriors had that went over their mouths, but allowed them? It didn't cover the eyes. It was just like it covered the mouth and it went underneath the giant samurai helmets that they wore. It's kind of like that stuff. It's meant to look like. To me, it was always meant to look like a bit of a fierce mouth design. I don't know whether that's what they were going for, but to me, I feel that's how it was. He looked sinister. Big Cold Snap probably helped as well. Again, the artwork, I don't think this is what he looked like. I'm pretty sure he didn't look like that, but that's okay. Again, nice bright red color scheme compared to Snare, who's purple. But Snare, you could say, is a bit messy in his vehicle mode because it was what was his vehicle mode? It was purple. It was purple with bits of orange or pink. No, it was orange, right? Bits of orange and pink. Some white stickers, some red stickers, not pink stickers, red stickers, and then some green triangle, a triangle splitting down the middle, one side being green, one side being teal, and then the Decepticon emblem being there as well. And then we also had translucent green. Bit more messy. I think I still would like it. Very 90s. So if you like the 90s, like myself, color scheme wise, this is still fine, but it was a bit more obnoxious. Snare is, I'd say, toned down tremendously compared to that. The plane, primarily red. Still got the translucent cockpit, which is bright green. We have light blue stickers. I think this one has more stickers than mine in some places. Light blue stickers, then dark blue stickers, and then teal wing tips. I think it's not quite as, like I say, in your face as the other one, Skydives. But still a bit weird. And then some bronzy big shoulders, like I say, just stuck on the side of the plane because of how the transformation works. I don't know. I still think really cool. Love the design. Think it's fun. That's the nice thing about all of the Predators. They were really easy to transform. So you could transform them, play with them, transform them back, swoosh them around and back and forth kind of play, rather than the Season 1 G1 toys and even the Season 3 G1 toys. There was more steps to them than this. And for me, these had solid quick, easy transformations that also showed a pretty decent robot. At least that was my opinion. The last one of the small ones, Talon. Talon, who's recently got a redo out of, is it Buster? Excuse me, Buster and Dreadwind, whichever one from Fans Hobby. Not exactly the same as I said on the show, but he is primarily a, let's say teal, just for argument's sake, teal standard F1. It's like an F1 jet, kind of the Starscream jet. Yeah, let's say that. It's like the Starscream jet mode, but fat. Yeah, I'm happy to say that. Imagine the Starscream's jet mode, whatever that is. I can't remember the plane number off the top of my head. Imagine that mode, but fatter, right? So it's more plump. It's not as tall. Yeah, just like Control T, Starscream's jet mode, and then just slightly get the top point and the bottom point and just like smush them a little bit closer together so it just widens out. That's Talon's vehicle mode. 2 big red missiles on the side of it, translucent green cockpit, and then some simple dark blue and white stickers on the side of them. I think there were meant to be some on the back of the plane mode as well, which they don't have in these images. Vehicle mode, transformation again, you pull the legs down, you flip the legs up. You can tell these are all the same, and you flip down the nose cone. I think this is probably the most Starscreamy because he has the The shoulder parts, which Starscream has, whatever you want to call those, I'm not sure. He has that design going on there. And then the face design is maybe generic. I think you could probably say it's the most generic face. It's kind of sound wavy with the mouth being covered up, 2 individual eyes on this one, and having that almost Decepticon head helmet design to it as well. It's okay. I like to pretend when I was a kid that there's some like technical detail on the forearms. I always pretended they were like little guns that you could shoot from as well, because he was tooled up. But I enjoyed him because he was the Rhino version from. I'll show you a picture of Gladiator's Rhino for the American viewers who are watching the show. Gladiators. Probably so many people don't know what Gladiators is anymore, unfortunately, because it's old, very old. But yeah, it has that kind of Rhino design. There's a good picture of Rhino. Yeah, there he is. Boosh. Boosh, Rhino. Rhino from Gladiators, where like his head almost sunk into his body because he was such a big boy. That's the kind of vibe I got from Talon. Talon was the Rhino of the group, and because it was 1992, that was peak Gladiator time. At least I thought so. Bodybuilder shape. He got that bodybuilder body. Did good old Talon, I thought. But yep, Talon, solid looking boy. The next one was lots of S's for the Predators. Skyquake, Skydive, Snare, Stalker. But we're talking about Stalker. Stalker was a missile-carrying communications quad-threaded future tank. Unless you see Stalker's alt mode, I really like it because it's such a weird vehicle. It's such a toy. It's such a toy vehicle that you'd see in again, G.I. Joe or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that. It's such a toy vehicle that if you tried to say is that an effective vehicle for what? It's like, no, does it matter? No, it looks cool. So it's got 2 front treads on each side, 2 back treads, which are obviously individual, because why wouldn't they be? And then a cockpit on one of the sides on the front, and then I guess is this meant to be like a cap that would open up so people could go in and out of the vehicle? Is that what that was meant to be? I don't know. And then you got this honking giant rocket, which, again, was it meant to be like a battle missile? So you shot it and it exploded, or was it a surveillance missile where it was meant to go into orbit? I don't know. I think primarily I use it as just a giant rocket. For some reason, a bit of translucent plastic on the front. Oh, I know why. I'm stupid. This whole thing was a gimmick. On the top of it, there was a giant square hole, which you could cover. There was a little slidey panel that you could slide over the top of it. And here would be where the previous translucent panels of all of the smaller Predator jets would go into. And you can't see it on this image. On the other side of the missile, there was a little lever, like a swingy down thing, which would allow you to somehow, I don't know how the technology works because I'm not smart, would allow you to swing down the translucent panels, which are all on springs. I didn't mention that all of the translucent panels were on springs for the previous Predator jets. It would allow it to swing down so you could look through the back of the missile. It had a little bit of translucent plastic, clear plastic on the back. And the front, I remember now, the front of the missile is translucent to allow light to come through. Excuse me. So then you could properly and easily view the little translucent panel while it being blown up so you can see it. Because I think there was a minor amount of magnification with the back of the missile that allowed you to do it. Really fun little gimmick. The panels were a little bit... I don't remember them being like, oh, I know who that character is. It's like, that's Optimus Prime that's being blown up, etc., etc. I think they were meant to be the Turbo Masters, but I haven't looked at those panels in such a long time. Let's see if I can find them. Let's see if I can find the images of them, because that might be an idea, right? Transformers. Transformers. Predator. Jets. Maybe that'll just do it. I don't know what else you'd put down. Translucent panels? Oh, I wish that image was better, because that actually shows kind of the panel there. Oh, there's one. Yeah. There's one. There we go. That's what Falcons looked like. It was, let's say a light speed. Jump to light speed. Yeah, Star Wars light speed background with two Autobots flying forward. I think one of them, the one in the foreground, was meant to be Boss, but each of the Autobots is kind of bright orange in color, holding bright yellow guns. So it was a little bit hard to tell. At least I thought so. But that was Falcons. I saw. Oh God, what? Oh, that's such a good custom paint of what do you call it? Robots in Disguise, 2015 Warrior Class Starscream into Snare. That's really good. Whoever did that. I'd like to see what the robot mode looks like, but I can't see any images. But never mind. I can show you what. Not Snares. Skydives look like, but it's a much smaller image. Yeah, it's there. It's kind of like two cars. I think this again is Boss, but for some reason Boss is in red. For whatever reason. But like I say, each of them had their own little... yeah. Oh, Talons. Talons was a... you can't see it here because the image is shit and small, but it reminds me, I remember what this image was. So it was Thunderclash in his vehicle mode, but it was all blue. So think of it like you see the white line art on a light blue background, and it's Thunderclash's vehicle mode. That's kind of how I would describe it. Not bad. Anyway. So, like I say, that's what the missile was for, was to allow you to see these gimmicks. His transformation, for the time, I thought was pretty cool. He had back panels on his legs, which you needed to flip out so you could flip the legs down, and then it would cover up the holes, which was quite nice. He had a waist joint, and his shoulders, how to describe it? His shoulders were on separate joints, so the arms would kind of would fold. They've gone a monkey kind of the gorilla elbow bend, so they only bent inwards. They didn't bend like the elbows that you'd want your toys to have. They bent inwards, which you can see with the screws, and they bent inwards on basically where his head goes, and then these would kind of flip down. This whole center section of Stalker as well would kind of flip down. So the back of here, this purple bit here, would flip down or flip all the way around to here. So this would flip all the way back or all the way forward while the head was tucked in there. You can see the little bit of black there. The head would flip up, and like I say, that would flip back. Pretty neat. And again, gave him a distinct look. They don't have images here for some reason. Jets, let's put in Stalker. Maybe we've got a better image of Stalker on here. You're going to show him tooled? There he is. Someone's got an image of him tooled up. You could put multiple missiles on him, 2 on each shoulder, which was neat. He had the gun in hand, and then the little radar dish on one shoulder, and the giant missile on the other shoulder. So he did look nice and intimidating. At least I thought so. Again, which is why I'd like to see him done in the future. Or if you wanted, you could just leave the missile on the back. There's the panels on the back of his leg. Someone's not transformed him right. But like I say, these would flip inwards. Or you could leave them out. I guess you could leave them out to give him extra stability. But he wasn't like a floppy doppy toy. He would always stand pretty well, even with this gigantic missile on the back. I don't remember him ever like toppling over or anything like that. Again, loved him. Nice, big and chunky. Didn't feel delicate in the hand at all. Stalker was again damned solid. And the last of them. Oh, I didn't even say the head sculpt. Nice and unique. I almost looks like he has a secondary mouth in his face here, but yeah, big visor, Decepticon styled head design, which I'm always down for. And the last one was Skyquake, big boy Skyquake. Do we have a better image of Skyquake? Don't put in Quack. Don't put in Skyquack. Skyquake. Oh, that's a cool bit of artwork. Skyquake was really, really big as well. Really big. How big was he? Skyquake was... I'm trying to remember. I think Skyquake's about the same size. Similar size. I don't think he's 1-to-1 size. With G1 Overlord. And with... who's another good example? Probably... probably a similar height to Combiner Wars combined figure. You know, if you get like Combiner Wars Bruticus or something like that. I think he's about the same size, but he stands quite far off on the shelf because he's got a big. His Stalker's giant missile, right? That gimmick there is the back of the plane mode. It's this giant section here on the back of the jet mode. Unfortunately, yes, which is old gold plastic. Yes, a minor amount of problems with people in the past because there is a big joint where this entire section flips down, or flips kind of this way. I'm kind of showing you with the mouse. It flips, it detaches from the body and kind of swings on a big hinge. That's the best way to describe it. Swings on a big hinge. It's a little bit cleaner than Stalker's. It's got the big hole in the top where the little panels go in. It's got a really cool giant big blob of green translucent plastic, which gives a better effect than Stalker's, which was just the little nipple of the missile. Looks a lot better. Also, for some reason, Skyquake has this giant switch on his back for the jet mode, where if you pull it open, all of these gold plastic syndrome parts will move upwards and will show translucent plastic behind him. Big old green translucent plastic, which would mean his chest lit up like a snow fountain, which I don't think is a term, but it sounds good. The jet mode is just basically I think it's just a bomb. Oh no, I can't show this. The image on TFU is it's devoid of stickers. They've got none of the cool stickers. This one's better. This one's way better. It's basically a giant bomber, and it's a big bomber. It's even got the cool kind of I think this is a British thing that we used to put on planes, where you put eyes and a giant kind of shark mouth on the front of the nose cone for whatever reason. I always thought that was fun. I always liked it. Again, I'm not sure if it is British, but I'm sure our planes did do that. It's got a few purple stickers. He is the same color as Talon, kind of teal, but he's got more color going on with him. He's got the black for bits of feet, the gold plastic, gold bronzy color. Giant engine intakes, I guess they're called, which are bright pink, which is nice, and then bits of silver on the back. These cylinders on the back, where the engines are, you could rotate these, and you'd rotate these, and is there a bottom shot of Skyquake? There we go. Yeah, these parts would rotate around and around, and inside where the engines would be, you would store one missile. You'd turn the engine thing, and it would open up another little panel. You'd put in one more missile. So if you wanted to go on bombing runs, you'd fly over. And granted, it wasn't like a smooth play feature, because it was on a ratcheted system, so you have to grind around, and it would click and go. It would do that kind of sound effect. But you could get some bombing runs off. You could drop either one bomb or two bombs at a time as you span them round and round and round. Quite neat. Quite a neat little feature. Play feature. Again, for a jet, could you say that there's a better way to implement them? Yeah, sure. We've seen like planes that have the drop bomb feature, which is just you pull something back and it just lets one bomb go. But that's the thing. Usually it would just be one bomb and it's gone. With Skyquake, you had lots and lots and lots of bombs. Does it say how many he came with? He came with 15 missiles. Now remember, the other one, the smaller jets came with 3. I didn't say how many Stalker had. Stalker came with 5. So he had 10 more than Stalker. And he had 12 more than most of the other Predator jets. So he had the missiles. He had a fuck ton of missiles, which made playing with him quite fun. Can't really see it here too well, but 2 would store on the underside of each of the small wings. And then another 2 would store on, 4 would store on the kind of front of the plane, nose cone of the plane. And then you could stick another one inside of his gun as well. So he was tooled. If you didn't want to have them all in the bomber drop sections, you could just stick them mostly all over the plane. Which again, not bad. I always liked these figures when you could just stick the cool missiles on. I thought they added a nice little extra bit of wowie sauce to them. He had a big old translucent bit of plastic for his eye sockets as well. Let's find the skydive picture. There we go. They've actually got it closed up here. He has these kind of vents on the side of his helmet, and this big, again, not translucent, bit of gold plastic syndrome plastic that would go over his light piping, which you could flip up and down. So if you wanted him to not have light piping for whatever godforsaken reason, nightmarish though you may be, you could flip it up. Oh, you can actually see it here on the underside of the plane mode. His head flipped into his chest, and this big old translucent green plastic covered it. But this part you can see through here. This giant rectangle is the thing that covers the translucent. Covers the gold plastic syndrome. No, it does. I'm stupid. I apologize. It does cover up the translucent bit of plastic, and you'd flip this up and down. They've actually not transformed this correctly back. For the jet mode, these arms swing upwards. You push them upwards, which were quite stiff on mine. And these squares on the side of the inside of the forearms have these big like squares. These tuck up underneath the chest, so they'd be locked into place. Like I say, they were quite stiff to pull up and pull down. But once you got them, that maybe this is why they're not doing it, because they're afraid whatever joint rail system it's on, it might break. I guess that makes sense. His transformation is not too hard. You'd swing the arms down so they're free to move up and down. You split the nose cone and flip the nose cone onto the sides of the legs, and then you just kind of flip the legs down, and they kind of splay apart. He has some front little tiny ditty baby feet, and then on the back he has some heel spurs as well. So all the way back in 1992, they were adding heel spurs because he needed it, as he had a giant gimmick hanging off of his back. I think Skyquake's one of the ones where the little tiny peg, like you can, if you see images of Skyquake's hands and you see the size of the peg hand, it's teeny weeny. But Skyquake, very intimidating presence on the shelf. Looks good. Problem is with him, if you are storing him, he does again have a lot of back kibble, kind of pushing him away. If you're trying to put him on the back of a display, he's going to be pushed off just because of this big old gimmick hanging off his back. Unfortunately. Love the toy. Think it's great looking. Love the design. But again, that is a little bit of a problem if you want to store him. And I can actually see on these Google image searches that they've... some people have been cool and repainted the Legacy Skyquake. At least I did see some repaints of Legacy Skyquake as I was going through these images, where they repainted him into the G1 version. That's one. Doesn't that look better? That's the one we want, Hasbro. At least it's the one I want. Look at him. He looks way better. He's got the proper head as well. So maybe one day I'll get my dream. I don't know. 1992. That's the Predators. The Rescue Force. The Rescue Force. The Rescue Force. The Rescue Force. They are an interesting little. They're an interesting little team of boys. We got as far as I remember, yeah, they didn't have any names. They've listed it on TFU with their Japanese names because they are just repaints of the Breast Force, Drillhorn, Jaruga, Kill Bison, and the Leozak. But on the TransformersLand.com site, they've got them listed as probably what they were actually called: Crane, Drill Tank, Dune Buggy, and F-14 Jet. I didn't know what their names were because I didn't read, because, well, loser reads, right? Not Andy, not me. So these were the Predators, these were the Breastmasters, but without the transforming boob, which is a massive detriment to these figures. So Drillhorn, which was Drill Tank, it is literally a repaint into a yellow version of himself. And as a kid, the back of the instructions did not say that these were combiners, so I wondered why he had a giant hole in his chest for the robot mode, because that's where the Breastmaster would go. And I also wondered why on the side he had this little strange hazard stripes on the side of his drill mode, and then this little panel that could flip out. I was like, why does it do that? And why in his robot mode does this hole in his chest, this entire black section, why is that able to flip upwards and have some kind of like a Combiner Wars kind of connection port thingy? What's going on here? He's not transformed it correctly, this image, for some reason. because he does have like flip out hands as well. You can flip them. You can see them in the drill mode. Yeah, there they are. Flip out these hands. Yeah. They did get new weapons, though. There are 2 versions of these. Oh, here we go, yeah. Drillhorn Rescue Force 3 was available with either a blue face or a silver face. I only had the silver face one. Additionally, the blue face version had grey weapons. Mine was definitely grey and had grey weapons. Whereas the silver face... the silver face version had either grey weapons or red weapons. He had these weird, like, drill gun things. For whatever reason, I had I'm pretty sure I had the silver face with the grey guns rather than the big old red ones. But it's not as it's definitely not as good as Drillhorn. Looking at Drillhorn, especially you're not going to show me an image of Drillhorn with his boob on? Transform it. Let's get a proper image. Drillhorn. Drillhorn. Where's the toy? Really? You're not going to show me a good image? There, that's good enough. You can see how much better he looks and natural. Well, almost natural. With his boob master in place. I actually think, though, Drillhorn's colors, just being like this dark gray, don't look quite as nice, oddly enough, as the bright yellow version from G2. Like, because he's a drill tank. So I don't know, to me, hazard stripes. I think I know why I associate the Drillhorn tank with yellow, because I'm pretty sure in Thunderbirds, their drill was yellow as well, right? Am I right with that? I think I am. So yeah, big fan. Obviously a big easy transformation because he's a Scramble City Combiner Wars toy, but Combiner toy. What would you expect? Next up, there's Jaruga, or what they called as Jaruga. I really liked this guy. He had a fun transformation. I always wondered why he had a little kitty cat helmet face. I think he came with the same... he came with different weapons to the original Jaruga figure. Again, they could come in either grey or red. Again, I had the grey versions. And they would these were just more like handguns, I guess, rather than the missiles. Jaruga got missiles, which would then stick into the side of his legs. I guess he couldn't hold them. No, he couldn't hold them. That's weird. So he didn't actually have a gun. Jaruga had these guns that would peg into the side of his missiles that would peg into the side of his legs in vehicle mode, or would look more natural as just missiles in the dune buggy mode, while the Rescue Force Jaruga just had these bizarre guns just pegged into the top of his vehicle mode, which looked awkward. You could also, because there was a big hole in the back of them, you could stick them into the sides as well. Although I liked him visually and he had more hazard stripes. That was the idea of the Rescue Force. The Rescue Force was all about hazard stripes. I don't know why. I guess rescue means hazardous, but it wouldn't fill me with a lot of hope if I saw something with that many hazard stripes coming. But again, it would have been nice if he had a redo version of his Boob Master. Jaruga. I don't think I spelled Jaruga correctly. No, I didn't. Let's just copy and paste it. So I'd like a good image of his Boob Master. Jaruga. Where are you? That's without his Boob Master in. Oh, there's his Boob Master. A little Jaguar. There, no, there it is. Yeah, again. He wasn't quite as bad. For his chest, this whole bit it's on a little spring, so you push it in, and it comes out. Again, as a kid, I didn't know why that was there. Confused the fuck out of me. But I did notice as a kid that he did have these giant nipples on the side of his legs. Obviously, for where you would combine the legs, and I was able to part together my own Generation 2 version of this figure, of the combined mode, but obviously he didn't have the rest of the pieces, so he was kind of lacking in a lot of ways, but I was able to figure it out. Axel Hedge says, just looked up the combined mode, kind of disappointed it wasn't finished or Yeah, I agree. This is the big shame with the Rescue Force, because I think if they wanted to be really cool, if they did Death Cobra because I don't think Death Cobra was ever properly released. If they did Death Cobra, and they repainted him from Death Cobra, they had both. They only did the one extra mold, right? They did one extra mold, which was be Death Cobra. So they do Death Cobra, and they also do Death Cobra, but as a rescue helicopter. That would have been really cool. I don't know what you do for the head because they never made the head, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a weird thing. Like a third party hasn't come along and just made 2 figures to go along with this just to fill out the rest of the set. I think it would have been neat. Big D says, "Oh hey, I recognize that guy. The only one of the team I ever had was the Jaruga version. I mean, okay, yeah, I had all of them. I was lucky enough to have all of these ones." But again, unshockingly, missing all their boob masses, unfortunately. Kill Bison, I had no idea what the fuck Kill Bison was meant to be. Obviously, for Kill Bison, he's a tank, but they switched out the guns for giant crane arms. So it's this weird, crappy kind of block tank mode thing with these giant crane arms, which again can either be in red or can be in grey. I had the grey versions as usual. I did pretend that his big... I did it with Drill Horn as well. The flip-up tabs here, the flip-up things that would allow you to make them into legs, I did pretend, like, I'd flip them up and I'd pretend that they were guns. So instead of having, like, a gun, he would have this giant kind of hidden boob cannon, like an Inspector Gadget toy or something to that effect, you know? But again, let's have a look at real Kill Bison. Kill Bison. Ooh, okay. Maybe not a hot take, but I will say the G2 version is better because Kill Bison appears to be all gold plastic. All of him. So, Kill Bison is a concern. There's another figure that KO companies could make new versions of. G1 Kill Bison. So again, he doesn't turn into fucking dust. I'm just saying, if a third party came along called No Gold Dust, NGD, No Gold Dust, NGD, yes, the NGD01 Kill Bison doesn't turn to dust. NGD02 Skyhammer, NGD03 Bristleback, NGD04. Who else could you do? Oh, who was the other mega pretender? That one, because I'm pretty sure he was Gold Plastic Syndrome. You know, you could do it because you could be like, here is a gold-ish looking toy that won't die. Do it, you fucking cowards. Do it. The rescue team trying real hard to be Iron Warriors. Kind of, yeah. There's a lot of hazard stripes, and again, not entirely sure why, but they kind of. I see where you're going. I'd love to get a whole legacy team. That would be neat. It would be better than the half-assed attempt of the Combiner Wars version. I like the idea that Hasbro made him and went, oh, no one wants him. No one's buying this version of him. It's like, yeah, because it was shit. It was shit. None of the vehicles looked really good, and you fucked over Leozak by making him into or making him from Skylings. It was dumb. Fucking dumb. Anyway, there you go. Who was next? Oh. Of course, the last one was Leozak, who was my favorite. I really liked him. He was a cool red jet. Big red wings. Had a weird gun. The way I would best describe the gun is, I don't know. It kind of looked like a jet. It didn't look like a gun, and it looked way more like a jet. And I always try to, because there was 2 handles. There was a handle on the top and the bottom. And I wasn't ever sure what the top handle was for. I assumed it was for something for the combiner mode, but it never seemed to be. And obviously, Leozak is better. You know, he just is. I don't know what to say. I don't exactly know why they didn't have the whole team, because they got like 4 of the 6. Why not just do the other 2? Now, granted, the other 2 are just 2 more jets. But I mean, I don't know. It's weird that they didn't just capitalize and just go all in. It's very odd. Big D, I have a spare Power of the Prime Starscream with the intention of getting the Shapeways kit to turn him into Leozak. It's probably faster than waiting for HasLab to do their own version. Which, if I was would I be a betting man? Maybe if I was a betting man, I'd say Leo Kaiser would be the next HasLab one, which I'd have to get. Unfortunately, and that one they'd probably be stinky and do that one for like 200 quid. Imagine if this year HasLab for Transformers was a proper take on Leo Kaiser. That'd be neat. That would be neat. Or if they did a take on, oh fuck, what's it called? It's not Landcross. Landcross would also be sort of neat. Roadbuster. Is that his name? The three Autobot combiner Roadbuster? I think it's that guy. You know who I mean. That guy. Made out of the motivators, who we'll get to. But that was the Rescue Force. Road King. That's the sausage. Thank you, Big D. Yeah, Road King. Rescue Force done and dusted. They were just repaints effectively with less accessories to them. So disappointing, but because the molds are pretty simple and fun, I enjoyed them as a kid, but I admit that they are a downgrade compared to what they previously were. 100%. Now we're back to the good stuff again. Turbo Masters. We already talked about the Predators. Turbo Masters. That's where the good shit is. Again. Turbo Masters were the good boys. Let's see. Let's get them up on screen. Turbo Masters. All right. Boss, the leader of the group. These are shit images. I should have known. Never trust websites. Sorry, it's just Boss. Boss. Great name. Who is he? He's just the boss. Don't worry about it. He is a car that just has a giant missile launcher in the front of his car mode. If you get Boss, make sure he comes with the gun. If you don't have him with the gun, your car mode is shit. It's like a car not having an engine. I never had Boss as a kid. Pretty fun transformation. Flip down the legs. They just flip down the chest. The cab of the car turns around, and then you kind of just straighten out the shoulders, and that's it. It's still pretty fun. It's neat. Oh, you flipped up the head as well. If I remember something to that effect. But Boss is a pretty decent. Oh, you spin the torso around. That's it. You spin the torso around. Yeah. He's a good-looking figure. I was glad to get him in the future. He comes with a spring-loaded missile. They're better spring-loaded missiles than for the Predators, because they're not gold plastic syndrome, so they won't explode. They come with yellow missiles, different-looking missiles from the Predator ones, so you're not going to get them confused. And he comes with 3 just like the other ones. So you could stick 2 missiles on the back of the car, and then 1 in the front, which granted looked a bit awkward, but I don't know. I mean, if you look at this artwork, whoever did this artwork, the Arc/Sumbo style. Oh, someone did. Oh, JP-V on DeviantArt. That looks really good. Whoever JP-V. They did really good artwork. It is missing the stickers though, because he does have a few yellow silver stickers on him, kind of like a yellow silver racing stripes, which are quite nice. Then some red ones just on his groin, just add a little bit more flair to him. Even Dreamwave got a hang of them just for a little bit. Before I went out of business, of course. Fucking Dreamwave. Hey, you've not transformed him right. You haven't turned his torso around, you silly image. But yeah, not the most inventive face. But I still kind of like it. It's hard to see there. Yeah, the head's kind of fine. XL Head says, so what is the fiction behind the Rescue Force? Did they just switch sides after the other members were killed? I'm going to say that there was no law. I might be wrong. I think they were just sold as is. No, that was the Stormtroopers, Andy. You're dumb. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they didn't have any bios on the back of the Rescue Force card. Let's have a look. Rescue Force. Whoops. Force. Card back. I'm pretty sure on the back of the cards it just... Yeah, that's what it was like. On the back of all the cards, it just had the instructions for every single member. So there was no lore. There was no dank lore for the Rescue Force. It was just, if you wanted your lore, too bad. If you want to know how every one of them transformed, you just had to keep the backing of one of them. I don't know why. I guess it was a way, again, just to cheapen out, because then you could just, if you wanted to, just take this and sell this figure all across Europe. All you need to change is the gubbins at the bottom, I guess. Big D says, see, all this G2 stuff is the sort of thing I hope we get more in Legacy. Agreed. We don't seem to, though. Some of these could be great fun figures with a modern spin. I agree. But whenever they do these kind of G2 characters, well, no, not these ones, because they're not unique molds. But when they do the unique Turbo Masters and such, it's always from something else. It's always from a G1 toy, rather than them being their own design. And it's a shame, because if you look at Boss, that's a really cool, interesting shape. It can only be Boss. Yeah, I didn't have Boss. I did have Flash, though. Not Flesh, as I was told I called him as a child. Flash. I think this was my first Turbo Master. I'm pretty sure. He was very, 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 very translucent. He was a cool, like, red sports car with a big fire eagle on the front. Very fucking American. This is probably one of the most American vehicle modes, because it's just bright red, big Firebird on the front, giant pink translucent windows on the front of him. Look at how good he is. Oh, this one's missing the stickers, because he is meant to have, like, on his V-fin on the top of his head here, that's meant to be a yellow sticker. Again, another giant gun, which could go on the back of his car mode. Big blue bit sticking out the back as well. This is why I like these really dumb-looking, weird car modes, because they're really fun. They look like children's toys, and I don't know, they have a really nice presence about them. The artwork's a little bit kinder with his door wings than his actual toy mode. He's in his robot mode, his door wings really stick out a long, long way. Again, gives him a unique look. But I think the artwork makes it look a little bit better, where the door wings are more like Jazz's door wings, they're behind the arms rather than being part of the arm. But again, I don't know. I saw this as the most American Transformer I ever had. Did I use him as Hot Rod? I might have used him as my Hot Rod proxy as a kid, I'm pretty sure I did. Just because he kind of looks like it. He's red. It's good. He's got pink in him. It's good enough. He's got a big Firebird on him. Again, Hot Rod, didn't, but close enough. Big D says, man, I remember the downgrade of the card backing. That was part of why I segued. I think he meant to say segued into collecting G.I. Joe over Transformers. Oh, interesting. That and seeing the various Alien, Terminator, and Predator comics. Oh, I thought you were going to say toys, Big D. Oh, you had me until you said comics. If you continued with Alien, Terminator toys, I would have been on board, because the Terminator toy line, look at this line. Look at this line for children. And this one where you could swap the arms around, and I had an endoskeleton as well. Oh, I had the T-1000 as well, which could explode. I didn't have John. It wants a fucking figure of John. Oh, hello, I'm John. Fuck off, John. What a cock. Also had the big... Yeah, I had this one. It had lights and sound effects in him. And he had a big minigun, which he couldn't ever fucking hold. It was he's huge, but he couldn't do shit. 12 inches. Kaz says, Leo Kaiser was one of the greats of G1 combiners, up there with Predaking, Piranacon, and Raiden. Is Raiden a classic? I don't know if Raiden is. Raiden's an interesting looking one, but because I've never had Raiden, I don't know if he's great. Is unique, though. I love when each combiner does something unique. I agree. I do like the idea, though, of... I don't want to downplay how fun the Scramble City combiners are, though, being able to swap the limbs and whatnot. I think that is a fun play feature that shouldn't be poo-pooed. No, sir. Never poo-poo. You poo-pooed him, sir. Never poo-poo someone, because they might poo-poo you back. And if you get poo-pooed, you're going to have to take it to them and poo-poo them. And then the whole platoon will be poo-pooing you. And you don't want that. Trust me. Big D says, is it me or is Boss just the sportiest sports utility vehicle ever? With a giant missile launcher in? Perhaps. Kind of like welding the front of a Lambo Yeah, you know what? Boss looks like a vehicle mode that they would use in Top Gear. Right? This mode looks like something No, this looks like a vehicle that what's his name? Not James May, not Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond. It looks like a vehicle Richard Hammond would drive, and then he would subsequently crash because it's Richard Hammond, and he seems to like to drive into things at high speed, but survive, thankfully. Thank God for Richard Hammond. I had some of the Alien and Predator toys. I never got any of the Predator toys. I always wanted a Predator toy, but I had an okay amount of the Alien toys. Oh, you meant Flash. Flash is more of a car that Jeremy Clarkson would drive, I think, right? If Richard Hammond drives Boss, Jeremy Clarkson drives Flash. Guaranteed. And James May would not score. No. That's not how you spell it. I messed out a C. James May would drive Scorch. Out of the Turbo Masters, James May would drive Scorch, who I really liked. I thought Scorch's transformation was great. Again, I don't know why. Oh no, I do. I lied. I'm sorry, chat. I do know why. He gave me, again, very American vibes. Very American vibes. He's very American. He's a big, bright yellow pickup truck lorry-looking thing with giant flames on the front of him. Now you might say, Andy, do you peg all American muscle cars to just have big flames on them? Yes. Yes, I do. I will be happy to say I'm racist in that fact, that if I see a car with a giant flame effect on the side and of the doors and on the front of the car mode, my brain might just go, you know what, that might be an American-style car. I don't know shit about cars. But just put fires on it. Just put a fire sign, not an actual fire. Fire paint on it. Yeah, I'll say it's probably American. I think that might be American as fuck. I don't know. What's America to you, Andy? Fire on cars. Not literal fires, painted fire on cars. Exelhead, Raiden, a great. I didn't hear about Raiden until Masterpiece announced it. I know, I heard about him. I just don't know how good of a toy he was. That's why I wouldn't say he's a great for me personally, because I didn't get to handle him, so I don't know what the engineering on him is like. In terms of unique Transformer combiners, he's definitely there. He's definitely unique, so I would agree at least with that. Excuse me, that's my chicken coming back up. And you are right to do so, Andy. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought so. Scorch is a rescue bot. No, Scorch is a cool American muscle car that's yellow and on fire. No, it's not a crappy rescue bot. Kaz, not in popularity, but the fun and engineering. I'll have to take your word for it. He has 6 guys with unique combination. They make a big Galaxy Express. I mean, that Galaxy Express, you just stick the trains back to front to each other. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And has nice proportions. Yeah, for a combiner, the proportions ain't bad. I agree there. Big D, if a car has flames or a bird decal on it, odds are it's an American fact. I think that's fair to say. Again, the transformation on this was quite fun. The legs kind of unfold downwards. The head would just flip up. The arms were underneath the bonnet of the car, so they kind of swung around up to the top to make the shoulder pads, and then the arms flip down, and you flip down the chest. Quite fun. He has a unique kind of face design with his big ears sticking out the side of him. Look at that. Look at that artwork. It's just good. It's just it's an interesting looking figure. I think if I'm fair, the Turbo Masters have better, more interesting transformations than the Predator Jets, generally. But I like the Predator Jets more. But the Turbo Masters are some of my favorite Autobots, again, because they all have unique, interesting looks to them. And again, did translucent plastic and light piping incredibly fucking well. It comes with 3 missiles, comes with a big gun that just sticks on the back of his truck mode. Love it. Fantastic. Can't get better, I don't think. It's very good. A very Armada Red... Actually, yeah. To be fair, if they're going to do Scorch, I could see it being done out of Red Alert. Armada Red Alert, when they eventually get around to doing Armada Red Alert, hopefully with a unique mold, not made out of fucking crankcase or anything like that. A unique mold. And they do Cannonball. And they do Scorch. Will I be sad Scorch doesn't get a unique mold? Yes. Yeah, I will be sad. The last Scorch we got was a BotCon exclusive out of Hound. I have it. Actually, no, the last Scorch we got was Creo Scorch. That was the last one we got, boys. Ripperoonie. But yeah, I have the BotCon one. It's fine. It's not Scorch. I'd love to get a real new Scorch, but if it just happens to be a repaint out of Redlet, I'll have to suck a sack and just deal with it, unfortunately. Exel Hedge, Scorch is ready to roll to the rescue, Andy. I don't care. He can roll out of my anus. That's what he can do. I don't want him rescuing people, Exel Hedge. I want him driving down the American highway, Interstate 68 or 69, whatever it is, just in the desert, running lizards over. That's what I want him doing. I don't want him saving people. I want him living the American dream and running over lizards. That's the American dream I want. Kaz, is Overlord considered G1.5 in Europe? Yes. I don't know if he is listed in this, though. I'm looking on the list. He might not be, We will talk about Overlord, but I don't think he's listed on the site. I can't remember exactly when he was released. Yeah, he's not listed on any of these. But we will have to talk about Overlord at some point in the future. Guaranteed. We'll have to do it. Boost for boost for the Hyperdodge. Thank you, Junie. I think I say that name right. Thank you. Big D, Andy, some might feel that you're not a fan of some of the longest running animated Transformers series in Transformers 40-year history. That is true. I'm to be fair, I'm not the target audience for it. I ain't the target audience for it. That's how I would phrase it. I'm not the target audience. I'm not a little baby. But I'm not a hater. I don't just hate it. I could be annoyed with it because it gets more showing love than G2. But I will try not to hate it. I did watch a video earlier today, which the guy was really explaining how much he fucking hated Transformers Prime. And I was like, some of the points you should back up with evidence in your video. But a lot of your videos seem to not be enjoying any Transformers. Any of them. Most of your videos seem like you really dislike Transformers. So why are you still doing it if you hate it? But, every fan has their place, Even if you fucking hate the thing that you do, I suppose. Now, granted, I say that without having any media that I've enjoyed since Prime. And Prime had problems. Prime had a lot of problems, as I've always said, but I do enjoy it. What did Exel Hedge? It looks like last Scorch was Rescue Bots. Stop living in denial. Oh, it was Rescue Bots. Okay. I thought, to be fair, I thought it was the Creo version. Kaz 991 in Europe, I think, and 1988 in Japan. I wonder if it's listed on the site then. Let's have a quick schnozzle. Because we haven't done 1991. I think 1991 is... Oh, it's the re-releases. Oh, the Motivators. Oh, it is. Yeah, okay. Okay, Motivators 91, Overlord is 91, Thrallbots. Yeah, this 91 is clearly when I got most of my toys. I don't remember getting them. This must have just been Grandis, Sky Gary, and Star Convoy. It's got that listed here, but that must be just for Japan. This must have been where I got all of my Transformers from, because I had Octane, I had Storm, I had Springer, I had Astro Train, I had some of the Thrallbots, I didn't have Overlord, I had 2 of the Motivators, I had Classic Optimus Prime, I had Sideswipe, I had Grimlock. Really? Look at this shit! Look at this shit for the re-releases for the Dinobots. They re-released Grimlock, they re-released Sludge, I had those 2, they re-released Snarl, and then it went, fuck the other 2. They said fuck the other 2? The other 2 for the Dinobots? I had Bruticus. They've got Streetwise here. Yeah, I had Streetwise and all that jazz. They don't have... I had the Stunticons as well, but they don't have them listed for some reason. Weird. And I had the Micromasters. So yeah, I must have got most of my Transformers in 91, 92-ish. Huh, that's fun to know. Anyway, back to the goo. We finished talking about... We finished talking about Scorch. Oh, Hurricane. Hurricane's the next one. Where the hurricanes... be the same with the Hurricanes. I think Hurricane was my least favorite of the Turbo Masters. He has a really cool, very sporty vehicle mode, which I do like. I do think the vehicle mode is neat. However, the robot mode is a little lackluster compared to the other ones. It looks okay from the front. Is that like a side shot of him? Because the side shot is where he gets a bit on the... Oh. Yeah, it's not a great side shot, but you can see that the shoulders just kind of float. The entire front half of the cab of the vehicle mode is nice, but the shoulders don't connect to it. They just kind of float on the back there. They're on these kind of drop-down hinges, which from the back doesn't look too good. Wow, look at this picture. Bright, nice white front and chest, and then his legs are just yellowy green, like he's been in a swamp. That's kind of sad. Poor guy. But yeah, I can't say I was a big fan of Hurricane. I think the head is okay for him. And the idea of the gun, there's a big peg in the back of his head. So the gun kind of, unlike most of the other ones where the guns would face forward or above them, the gun for Hurricane faced out of his back, which was fine. It was fine. I don't know. Hurricane didn't do it for me. He was probably the biggest drop-off for the Turbo Masters, I would say, at least from my point of view. From my point of view. Big D, Overlord was late G1 for the UK. I remember it was on the packaging artwork for some of the classic era figures. Wait, that's right. I bought one of the Road King guys. He had Overlord on the back cover. Yeah, I had one of the motivators. No, I had two of the motivators, sorry. The motivators just didn't come again with the parts to make him into a combiner. So I didn't know that they were a combiner. And I didn't have the Black Doom Buggy one, so I didn't even know they could combine. Because without that, you'd have no idea. No idea. We were back from Hong Kong on a holiday, and classics were everywhere. Ah, that makes sense. Excel Hedge, check 90 and 92 for the other Dinobots. Really? The other Dinobots, 19 and... Let's have a look. Let's have a look. No, not 90. And it's not 92 either. So no, they were just never re-released for whatever reason. Big D, Hurricane shows promise, but the engineering just wasn't there. Yeah, I'd agree. I think Hurricane's got a really cool vehicle mode. And in the artwork, he has an okay, like, robot mode. You could say he's kind of, like, current-day Mirage looking, I suppose. If they wanted to do a repaint out of him from Mirage, again, I'd not be happy about it, but yeah, okay. But yeah, the vehicle mode, I think, is, again, really interesting to look at visually. Kaz, love my Transformers with red, white, and green deco. Make me want a Quiznos sandwich. It's a sandwich. Yeah, luckily I know what a Quiznos is, but thank you for putting that in just in case. Yeah, Quiznos for sandwich. But yeah, Hurricane. He's the least fun out of them, but neat. Kind of wish I had Boss rather than him back in the day. Sorry, Hurricane, but I did have you. And then we had Rotorstorm. Rotorstorm being the Stalker equivalent. Rotorstorm. I have the redo of him, which is fine. It was out of, what's his name? Spinister. It's okay. I'll take it. But the classic Rotorstorm, let's find a good image of him. Again, kind of interesting. It's a little thin. I think Stalker's a little bit cooler than him. His transformation's fine. His arms are in the back. The entire back propeller, back part of the helicopter, whatever that is, splits in half, swings forward and pegs in at the top. The legs swing down to where the arms were, and the nose cone just kind of flops down as well. It's an interesting look, again, but I think maybe it's because he's just like baby blue and dark blue, with a bit of grey and a few red stickers. He's not the best. Did he have a gimmick? Oh, he did have a gimmick. There's on the helicopter, there's a tiny, tiny button that you might not be able to see on screen underneath the translucent propeller blades for whatever reason. There's a tiny button, and if you push the button, the guns on the top of the helicopter drop down to the side. I don't know why, but they did. You could do that if you really wanted them to. It was a fine feature. I never really used it that much just because it's just dumb. It feels like, again, compared to Skyquake's giant telescope, translucent panel interactive gimmick that I mentioned earlier. Compared to that, the gimmick here is kind of a bit of a wet fart, in all honesty. But the head design, I think, was quite cool. And to be fair, the newer version of him, which was a Generation Select figure, because fuck you guys, pretty much, I think was a decent representation of him. Good enough, I would say. Close enough to what he looked like. Fine. But a nice, new Rotor Storm again would be cool. Now, the only Turbo Master I didn't have is their leader, and maybe it was for the best. It was Thunderclash. A man who could also go into the third party. Let's make Gold Plastic Syndrome a thing of the past. Thunderclash. I'm kind of glad I didn't have Thunderclash as a kid, because I don't think he's very cool. Excuse me. At least in terms of his robot mode, this is another kind of Optimus Prime kind of guy who relies heavily on his trailer being quote unquote cool, right? Like, compare this guy to Skyquake. This guy got shit on Skyquake, I think, for the most part. The robot mode, yeah, I've never had him, so I'm not quite sure how well the transformation is. It's okay. It's got the general look of a Optimus Prime-ish kind of looking guy. I think it actually works a lot better in vehicle mode. I think the vehicle mode looks really nice and tidy, and still very 90s, which is the important point, and very big translucent pink windows, which I'm a big fan of, and big giant guns on the top. I think the main feature was the turret mode, right? For the trailer. The trailer would open up into this bizarre tripod missile launcher. There's a good image of it. Yeah, this tripod missile launcher, which seemingly had like Skyquake, had a fuck ton of missiles. How many missiles did you have? 8. There's no way. Really? He only came with 8 missiles? Did he really? No, there's more missiles here than there is 8. There's no way Thunderclash came with just 8 missiles, right? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's an image that has him with 12. A website says 8. I think 12 sounds like a more reasonable number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. It's 12. 6 on one side, 6 on another side. And it was kind of like almost like a belt feed. So I don't know how you'd fire them. Maybe you pull this blue bit back and you spring them forward and it poops one out. But it means that the kind of rockets in quite quickly. Quite cool. Nice little gimmick. But I think this is unfortunately what Thunderclash relied mostly on for his budget engineering wise. Versus Skyquake, who was just a big fucking chad. Like, again, let's have a look at Skyquake in comparison. Sky. Don't put Quack again, Andy. Skyquake. No, not lame Skyquake. Real Skyquake. I mean, look at this. And it was huge. 12 inches tall or something to that effect. Huge. Big boy. Cool design. Very cool design. Drops bombs out from his doodad engines. Versus your dad's fat mate, Terry, who eats crisps, but has a pretty cool trailer. But he is just Fat Terry who loves his chips. You know? I think Skyquake's better. In all honesty. Big D says, translucent rotor blades. Someone on the design team likes to live dangerously. Well, this was the era of like Gold Plastic Syndrome. Where it was just everywhere. So yeah, Danger was their middle name. I don't think to be fair, I've lost my rotor blades. So I can't say that mine is still fine. For my Rotostorm, they've gone walkabout, unfortunately, which I was really annoyed about when I found out I was missing them. I mean, there's a reason Rotostorm is most well known for Overlord pushing his brains out. That's true. That's true, unfortunately. I still think James Roberts did it because he hates me, which is why all of my favorite toys were killed in that comic book, to be fair. Kaz, Diatlas is greater than Thunderclash. I never had Diatlas, so I'll have to take your word for it. Diatlas does look good, though. Big Dumb Drills beat another Big Dumb Truck, but with 90s colors. 90s colors is cool, but I will say that Diatlas looks the biz. You know, let's get an image of Diatlas up. Diatlas. I mean, it is a very cool toy. You know, it is a very cool looking toy. And I'm sure if I mention this, Big D will go, but I have this figure. I kind of wish I got the Japanese redo, the LGEX Big Powered Convoy when it came out. But again, I just didn't have like the money to burn at the time, which is a shame. The whole team of Diatlas' team is pretty good, but I've never fiddled with them myself, unfortunately. I actually like the Brave version of Diatlas as well. The black and red version. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But oh, hang on, I see a message from Big D. Big D, I've settled for the render foam and Toy Hacks conversion kit on the Combiner Wars Battle Core Optimus Prime for my collection Thunderclash. That's fair. That's fair. I'm sure maybe one day they'll do a proper Thunderclash. I say hoping in vain, you know. Sadly, not. I do keep looking up LG Big Powered. Oh well, if you want to buy me one day, Big D, I'll happily take it off your hands for free. You know, if you want to be that guy, that's fine. I'll let you do that because I'm a nice guy. They call me Andy the nice guy. But that was the Turbo Masters. We've talked about these guys. That's 1992. All done. All done for 1992. I managed to milk that one quite well. Just simply because, you know, hey, we talked about the other ones. We talked about the Aquas Force. We talked about the accelerators. We could talk about these two. Sky Scorchers. Talked about them. We could say, wow, there's not much to say for them. Why they got Sky Scorchers twice? Never mind. How much time do we? Yeah, we could talk about a few more Transformers, I think. Let's talk about the Light Formers and the Tracons. Because I have 2 of these, and I'd like 2 more of these in the future. So the Light Formers and the Tracons are the same gimmick, effectively. You got a giant weapon accessory which had a little spinny thing in the back which showed a little image, like the Predator jets had like a small image, and you press a button and it would spin the gun and they would kind of do this gun firing motion. I have Fear Swoop and I have Iron Fist. I don't have Deft Wing and I don't have Calcar, unfortunately. So, Iron Fist, everybody's favorite little Iron Fist. Transformers, Iron Fist. I had Iron Fist before he was cool, chat. Because I knew he was G2, so I wanted him. Also, they did repaint him. Iron Fist back in the day was a creamy kind of deserty color. More cream than desert sand. It shows him with gold plastic syndrome-ish shoulders, but I don't think mine has those, but I could be wrong. Blue, and then green feet. Transformation's okay. He is He's basically the vehicle that's in the start of Iron Man 1, where Tony Stark gets, at the start of that movie where Tony Stark's going around with the army. That's the kind of military desert vehicle he's in, is the best way to describe it. Random stickers of 472 on the front of his car mode. But yeah, his robot mode, it's okay. He's got that syndrome that some of these figures had, where the head is a little bit obscured by the front bumper or the front of his chest. It's like a girl with a push-up bra that's pushed up their boob too much, and they have to like peer over the top of their boobage, which I assume could happen. The gun can stick on the top of the car mode, and he can awkwardly hold it. I say this because there is a big stand, which is the only way that they're able to balance with these weapons. He doesn't do a huge amount. And let's be honest, the color scheme's a little bit on the messy side. Animated, when the BotCon did their exclusive, turning the kind of creamy desert color just to orange, was much better. I don't think turning it gray was a good idea, personally. I think the just standard bright orange worked a lot better, in fairness. You can almost see on this really tiny shit image what the inside of the light former gun was like. It was kind of like that, so it'd spin around and have that image. But again, it's not a great image of it. Unfortunately, I don't think there is a good image. Not one that I can find quickly, unfortunately. So that's one I did have. He's quite fun. He's got weird elbow joints, let's say, and just a little bit forward arm movement, so, nothing crazy. Fierce Whoop is a perfect figure to go along the Predator jets. Oddly enough, transforms very, 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 very similar to a lot of the Predator jets. And his head design, again, everything about him just kind of fits in with those. For some reason, on the underside of his wings, they gave him little weird star stickers. This is not like someone's fucked around with their figure. Mine has them on as well. I don't know why that is a thing. The stickers on his vehicle mode is, oddly enough, I think more like movie Starscreams. I don't know what kind of jet it is, but it looks more like that. What, an F-22? Is that what they're called? Kind of looks like one of them. His gun, his giant gun, plops onto his back of his jet mode fairly well. He has the big stand for his gun as well, but unlike Iron Fist's, which did have an extra joint in it, if I switch back to it. Yeah, it had an extra joint in it, so it could fold up a little bit cleaner. Fierce Swoop doesn't get that, unfortunately. His is just a big obnoxious blue stand. It's not even a stand, it's a stick. It's a big obnoxious blue stick, so it's not very nice visually. I think did I see an image? Again, you can kind of see what the image is. I think it's meant to be Iron Fist. I think it's meant to be Iron Fist's chest and head, which you're aiming at there, which is kind of messed up. Kaz, G1 Shockwave levels of busty. Yeah, but Shockwave's boob doesn't like cover over his eyes where he's like peeking up over the top of them. Shockwave at least has a good head to see over the top of his boobage, which is good. How did Revenge of the Fallen's Fierce Swoop's colors go so wrong? Because Fierce Swoop's not based off of Fierce Swoop. Fierce Swoop, Revenge of the Fallen's color schemes are based off of Hooligan's color scheme, which we talked about last week. I guess they just didn't want to use Hooligan's name. Maybe that's why it happened. But again, no, Fierce Swoop. I think Fierce Swoop looks good. Visually, nice. Very much, oddly enough, the yellow and the green, you could say is kind of knockoff. Like, you could see, like, this bright yellow as a knockoff Transformer store kind of color scheme. But thankfully, it was the 90s, so it looked cool. And, box art is really cool. The box art's really good. So, the other two that we didn't have are Deft Wing, which I've considered getting a few times, but is expensive. It seems like the Autobots look out when it comes to the stands, because it seems like both the Autobot stands can fold away. Seems to turn into a little bit of a fatty Harrier jet. The way I would describe this jet is the jet from the end of, what's it called? True Crimes with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's the kind of jet, whatever that jet is, the ones that can hover. That's the kind of jet I would say this is. Babyish, grayish blue. The gun for his back looks more like binoculars. If one of the binocular lenses was a machine gun. That's how I would describe it. It looks awkward and a little bit nasty. And in all honesty, I don't think the robot mode looks very good compared to Fierce Swoop and compared to Iron Fist. He doesn't have feet. He just looks a bit awkward. I don't even know how to describe this alt mode because I've never had it in hand. I'm not quite sure exactly. I'm sure it's not a very complex transformation. It seems like his legs are the intakes, I guess, for the front of the Harrier jet. So they probably don't have a huge transformation issue. The wings turn into the arms, and it feels like the front of the chest just kind of folds down as well. So yeah, I don't think Deft Wing looks very good. I think Deft Wing might be the weakest of the Trakons light formers, but Kalkar, for having a very silly name, Kalkar, I think he looks pretty cool. He's another pretty cool looking Decepticon, if you ask me. I don't know what the car is. The car kind of looks like a weird mesh between a dune buggy and a muscle car. Muscle car dune buggy kind of style. With some baby blue and some red, also pretty solid color scheme. And a head that's very similar to... It's not Onslaught. Fuck, what's his name? I'm going to have to look. Clench. He's got a very Clench head design, which is, you could say, over-designed, gas mask kind of styled, which I'm, again, kind of down with. His gun... Oh, no, his gun does have a normal stand that does fold away. So it's only Fear Swoop that has the shit stand for the gun. His gun's kind of like more of a minigun. It looks more like Iron Fists, just this time around minigun styled. Oddly enough, in his packaging, he's more of this Ribena Iced Lolly red than in his actual toy form where he's just a bright red. I think I might have preferred him in this kind of pinky red, I think, to be honest. But Kalkar, he still looks pretty good. I think he looks better than Deathwing at the very least. How would I rate them? Visually wise. I threw Fierce. I'm trying to think. Do I like Fierce Swoop more? Or do I like Kalkar more? Ooh. It's hard to say because I don't have Kalkar. Because I don't have him, let's go with Fear Swoop. I like Fear Swoop the most, then Kalkar, then Iron Fist, and Deathwing last. That's how I would pick my favorite boys, at least for this weird subline with this kind of shitty, obnoxious gimmick, which is this thing. Again, it's an inflated price for not something that's desperately cool. It says laser fire viewing, action. That's it. That was the description of what your gimmick was. Damn, he was only 20 quid back in day. Jesus Christ. Hey, Orange, welcome. You've seen us come to talk about G2-ish. Never had these guys growing up. I've got two of them, which I've mentioned, which was Fear Swoop and Iron Fist. Those are the two I had. So... Now that we've done the track-ons, we've got the obliterators. One that I have, which is Clench, and the other one I don't have, which is Pyro. And of course, as we know, Pyro is one more subject of the "oh no, I've turned to fucking dust in your hands" kind of guy. Which is a shame because, unlike Thunderclash, I think Pyro looks pretty good. Not as good as some of the Turbo Masters, but pretty solid. I like how the back of his... what is his vehicle mode? Because it's not a fire truck. Is his thing a fire truck? Like a weird, super heavy-duty fire truck? Does anybody know? Does anybody know offhand what vehicle mode Pyro be? Let's see, can I find it here? Obliterators. Pyro. Yeah, what vehicle mode is this? It could be a fire engine, I suppose. I'm just not sure. Regardless, I like the fact that the back of it is just hazard stripes. Just not any breakup, just everything on his back is a fire stripe. And even in vehicle mode, he can get his weird little pokey turret up. The base mode turret stand is a downgrade from Thunderclash's. It's not nearly as good. It just kind of looks a bit of a mess. Thankfully, the robot mode does look quite good for the time period. Nice big chest. Looks like there's a bit of a hole here in his abdomen area. I'm not sure if that's just a fuck up of the transformation or what. But yeah, I think he looks pretty good. The head design. I can see why James Roberts wrote him to be the obligatory Optimus Prime obsessed fanboy, because he does have a very Optimus Prime looking face, in fairness, or head design, in fairness. But his forearms are gold plastic, his waist is gold plastic, his feet are gold plastic, his one of his guns is gold plastic. His turret for his trailer is also gold plastic, so Yeah. Unfortunately, this guy is another one of those candidates for the, hey, why doesn't a KO company remake these figures? Will I ever get off this bandwagon? No, I will not, because I think it's a good point where they could probably make some money. Now, the one I do have is good old Clench, who I think is. Do I think he's better? I have him, so it's maybe not fair to say, but yes, I do think he's better. Though I don't like the official transformation for him. The official transformation for his robot mode has the front grill turned down like this. I prefer having them tilted upwards. Has anybody mistransformed him to have these pointing up, I wonder? Probably not. Yeah. Here, this guy's transformed him incorrectly, like I do. I prefer these up. I don't think the front of the lorry mode looks desperately good, just because of the shape of the shoulders, right? Just because of the shape of these shoulders, I much prefer it to have this look to it personally. But the image that you saw here. He's fairly posable. He's got knee joints. He actually has waist joints. They are somewhat usable. He does have shoulder joints and elbow joints. He's not going to be doing any kind of crazy posing, but for the time, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. And the transformation's pretty fun. He is the front of the cab. If you want him without his trailer, he will have no wheels, which is an issue. It's definitely an issue. And his trailer does become... His trailer does become... just a big gun battery. Oddly enough, this reminds me of the guns that I've been fighting in Lies of P at the moment, where the guys sniffing blue goo stand behind the towers and fire giant things at you. I've never been able to get my missiles to work correctly. I don't think that's desperately intuitive. It's cute that it has a translucent viewfinder as well, which you just, you shove it in his face and hope for the best. You pretend, He comes with a few very, very long missiles, which you can poorly store in the gun. They have a cool feature where I think you can lift up a part on the top of these and drop the missiles directly in, and then fire them off kind of that way, rather than dropping them, pushing them in through the hole where they'd fire from. They get to be belt fed if there was a belt to do it. It's quite neat. He's also got a cool color scheme. He's not black. He's this really, really dark blue. The dark blue is really... The dark... Hang on, I'll explain this better. It's a dark blue, and then he's got this speckled white look to him as well. So the best way to describe it is his color scheme, his primary color is a night sky without any clouds. It's a starry scene, is how I'd best describe it. Then he's got these awesome lightning bolt stickers to add some yellow on, and then green, and then bits of pink. Again, very fucking 90s. Very cool transformation. Really cool vehicle mode, I think. I would not like to see this guy have Laser Optimus Prime for Legacy. No. We've had enough of that mold. No more, sir. No more. No. But if we could have like a new Clench, the Clench that was done for BotCon, yeah, I was almost going to get it, but I'm not a big fan of that Onslaught figure, in all honesty. If we could get a new Clench, though, I wouldn't say no. I think he's kind of cool. He's got a nice look to him. And he's got relatively large vehicle mode, because it's similar in scale to Quake's. It's not as big as Skyquake, though. I mean, they're not standing next to each other, but trust me, they're not the same size. But yeah, Clench, he's a good fun figure. He actually, the way that this pegs into the back, you can see these big like T-clips that peg into the back of the vehicle mode. It's really nice and satisfying to just push them together and hear that nice big click. Just start rolling it around after that. He's a fun one. He's a pain in the ass to get these days, though. I did have to pay a pretty penny for him. I can't remember how much I did spend on him, but I'm sure he's gone up since then. I love the smokestack's legs. Yes, the fact that the smokes, like, that's something that you don't really see from like the truck transformers. The back of the cab where the smokestacks are where like the legs unfold from, which is pretty fun. A modern update to the gun emplacement would be great. would be so great looking for the blast effects. Yeah, actually, that's a fair point. The blast effects would work really well on a new Clench figure, I think. But Andy, we need G2 Laser Magnus. Laser Magnus. Do we really need him? I mean, I remember when Japan made the Laser Ultra Magnus, and I was like, I might buy that. Never did. I'm really stupid that I didn't buy the reissues from Japan. G2 Laser Ultra Magnus. It is a I do think this reissue is really cool. It is really cool. Like I'm not gonna fight you on that. Look at him. It just looked good. It just looked good. Oh, that's the reissue. That one of these is the reissue. Maybe this one, actually. This might be the reissue. It is really good, but I don't like the legacy. I guess this is what it would look like. Yeah, the legacy mold is just poo. That's the problem with Laser Optimus Prime. The mold is just not very good. Like, I'm only begrudgingly wanting to get the, what do you call it? The Toxitron version, because it's a Toxitron color scheme. But if someone said, hey, Andy, what if we just re-released the re-release and did a G2 version of it, I'd be way more into that. Way more into that. I think the original figure, right? I think this original mold is better than the Legacy. Look at the Legacy. Look at his weird, bizarre proportions. And look at how we can't even move his fucking shoulders. And then look at this one. What does this one have that this one doesn't? Ankle tilts, a thigh swivel, a waist joint. I think that's it. And he's not got a shoulder joint here. So it is minor upgrade, but not a huge upgrade. I think this picture's really good to have all the versions of him. Like this one in the back, the year of the R-Slick or whatever it was called. Translucent one, that can go to hell. That's pretty shit. And I don't... Oh, one's Scourge, one's the G2 one, right? Nemesis? It's hard to tell the difference between the two of these. One must be the Japanese release ones. Oh, this one's the Japanese release because it's got the upside down Decepticon insignia, while the American one doesn't, right? I think that's the case. Anyway, that's the Obliterators done. I think with that chat, we'll have to end it here. We don't have too many more left to go. We've got the Sky Scorchers left to talk about. We've got the recolors of the Dinobots, the recolors of the Minibots. We've got 99.2 to go through. How much of 92 do we have? We've got the Laser Rods, the Heroes, which is Dreadwing and Smokescreen, the Rotor Force, which is another weird subline, the Combat Heroes, which are just the Heroes. Wait. Yeah, the Heroes and the Combat Heroes are fucking the same. Why did you do that? We've got the Spark Bots, and then we've got the GoBots, the Light Cycles, G2 Optimus Prime, and we've got all of the GoBot line. We got the Laser Cycle, talked about that. Oh no, and we've got the Power Masters. Not the Power Masters, the Power Space Masters. And let me just give you a preview, chat. The Power Masters are the worst G2 figures. They are the worst at G2 figures. We'll talk about them later. We'll talk about them later. Oh, damn, I caught you late. You did. We've been going for about 2 hours, Aaron, but that's okay. You can hear us on the flip side. If you do have any questions, poop them through to me while I tell you where you can find me, chat. We'll be back next week, though, of course. Depending on the news, we might bring George on and see if we can do more of the old figures and pick up from where we left off, the beginning of the Pretender era. That's the hope. So, if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Decade Andy, usual place you can find me, Decade Andy, Rotten Corpse of Human Being. Moonbase 2 podcast, Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast on YouTube, or on Twitter, iTunes, Libsyn, Facebook, lots of other places, Twitch as well. Here is Decade Andy, ccbunker.weebly.com. You can help us out on patreon.com/Moonbase 2 if you want to help out the show. I'm hoping to get shows up again at some point when I'm not quite as busy. That's the hope. Maybe it'll pan out one day. I won't talk about what I've been up to this week because it's nothing special. I had my birthday, and nothing really happened. So I can't really talk about any cool things I did because nothing really cool happened. I did see my mate Matt. That was about really the only thing I did. But yeah, thank you very much, Jeff, for coming on by. Hopefully I'll see you guys on Tuesday when I'll be streaming again. Oh no, Tuesday we'll be doing the Fluff and Hammer. So if you want to come on by 8 o'clock on Tuesday in the evening, you can hear me, Gruff, and George do the Fluff and Hammer podcast and talk about all the Warhammer stuff that's been happening. And there's been a lot. There's been a decent chunk of stuff. So thank you guys, one and all, for coming on by. I'm, of course, dead on the inside, dead on the outside. And until next time, guys, I'll see you suckers next time. Bye-bye, everybody in Transformer World. Bye-bye. Yeah.